late.
Traffic.
Hello. Welcome to Small Screen. I am Edward Lauder. Today we have a hell of a show, a jolly good show. We're going to be talking about Scarlett Johansson and her also Ray Winstone. He does the best accent. Best accent. We're talking about Scarlett Johansson is changing the industry with her lawsuit against Disney for lost revenues in her movie Black Widow that was also simultaneously released on Disney Plus, violating her contract. This is a serious topic we're going to talk about, but we're mainly going to talk about Ray Winstone and how good his accent is. His accent is fantastic.
All right, that's enough. You're not Edward.
What?
No, you're not Edward.
But
no.
Ray Winstone.
He hates Ray Winstone. Even though Ray Winstone's a national treasure? No. Sorry.
Come now. What's up, gang? It's Clint. What's happening? Guys, you didn't know it, but it was me all along. How you guys doing today? Dude, we're having a crazy show to talk about. James is going to hold my hand through it, and Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney Plus, or Disney in general, for lost revenues, and this is going to be a crazy show. First, let's talk to the guys in the chat. How are you guys doing over there? Everyone in the chat? Oh, let's see here. Happy birthday to the Governator. I'll watch Total Recall this weekend to honor the occasion, or maybe Red Heat. Cocainum.
Come on, don't bullshit me. I don't do requests. Cocainum.
Oh, yeah. Cocainum. LOLOL. Man, what a crazy day. I don't know if you guys have been watching. You have to be living under a rock to not have seen the stuff. Every channel's talking about it, and it would be silly for us not to do the same. So I'll jump into it here. Let's do a couple more hellos to people here in the chat, though. Hi, everyone. Roberta Bobby Anderson, what's happening? Jedi Master EJ says, "What's up, everyone?" Who's there? Kaz. What's up, Kaz?
Knock it off, you two. This is a
live stream.
That's right. This is a Clint. Jedi Master EJ, what's up? What's up with Edward's lips? Seriously, what is up with his lips? Sean Harrington? Oh, Harrigan, my bad. Hi, everyone. Jonathan Barr. Yeah. Well, there
he is.
Thank you guys for not piecing out once you saw it was me. It's like, and what the hell is Clint doing at Edward's house? That's the weird thing. I flew to Paris just to do the show today. So this is going to be a fun one. Yeah, and James will be popping in to talk to me about stuff, but pretty much.
It's funny you think that. You're all on your own, brother.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be just hanging out to dry. Oh, I took a couple of notes here that I'll be, if you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my notes. So I'm driving the car today. Woohoo! I got my big boy pants on.
You lie!
Yeah. So basically, Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for releasing the movie. And people, and it's gotten really ugly because they responded. And pretty much, I feel like the way they responded, they're trying to make her look like an entitled rich girl who, because they named the specific amount she was paid, which they don't do that, which is crazy, because now they're probably going to have all these other actors like, hey, what? You paid her how much? But that's pretty nuts. It's also super rude. They just don't do that. You don't give that information. but the motivation behind that, I feel like, is to make you know how the public is. The general public is like, she got 20 million for that. What the hell is she complaining about? Like, spoiled brat. But they really, they did a lot of things in a manner that would pad their pockets. These are the people, the decision makers over at Disney. So, and I'm going to be going through these notes. Let's see here. So first off, let me jump in this real fast. When the spokesperson at Disney described the lawsuit as having no merit, and blasting it as especially sad and depressing in its callous disregard for the horrific prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. They're trying to make,
and they ousted her salary to the public.
Yeah, that's 20 mil, and they're trying to make her look insensitive, and it's really crazy for somebody for a big company like that. The big companies like that, they usually play it classy and don't get, but this seems really petty.
Well, do you think they would do that to any male actor like Tom Cruise or Denzel Washington or anything like that?
I don't know. I think it was a desperate move to try and shame her and maybe turn the public against her so that maybe she would back down a little bit. It's all
Bob Chapek, man. It's all
and her agency, which is CAA, Brian Lord, co-chairman of CAA, and Johansson's agent, fired back at Disney Friday saying, shamelessly and falsely accused Johansson of being insensitive to global pandemic in an attempt to make her appear to be someone they know, and we all know she isn't. Disney's direct attack on her character and all else they implied is beneath the company that many of us in the creative community have worked with successfully for decades. So like I said, it wasn't a very classy move, but so
Dickwad.
Yeah, dickwad. She claims they knew the theaters weren't recovered from the apocalypse, as I like to call it, and that they released it anyway. And then let's see, I had a lawyer quote over here. I got all kinds of stuff.
Rajni says, as much as acting and filmmaking is fun and art, at the highest level, it's still business. Scarlett is just sticking up for her rights. Studios are too comfortable screwing over actors and filmmakers. Yeah.
Well, way back. What's interesting is way back in 2019, and I found this in an article earlier today. But before COVID-19 and all this stuff, they had Disney Plus. They were looking to the future at Disney Plus. They were planning all this, and Johansson's team actually contacted Marvel for confirmation, make sure that they weren't going to change anything, and was like, "Hey, okay, you're getting this Disney Plus thing is happening. Are you gonna is anything gonna change with the release of my movie?" And according to an email in March of 2019, so this is way before the pandemic, but it was looking at Disney Plus, it's the future. And they asked, basically, is anything going to change with our deal? And Marvel's chief counsel, Dave Galuzzi, confirmed that we understand that should the plan change, we would need to discuss this with you and come to an understanding, as the deal is based on a series of bonuses in the box office. And they said that in 2019. Okay.
What?
Which meaning, if you guys don't know how the contract works, the more they do in the box office, the more she bonuses. So she gets some money up front, but there's like benchmarks, and every time you pass a certain number in box office tickets, she makes more money. And so they say that she may have lost up to $50 million. That it may have cost her that much, releasing it during a pandemic. Now, some of us are like, we're so tired of waiting for that movie. It's like, oh, whatever, dude. It wasn't going to do that. Who knows what the real number was going to be, but there's no way to do it. The point is that they should have renegotiated before they released it, or just not done it without her permission. You can't just go back on a contract. And the other thing that's funny is that, okay, they're doing that. By releasing it that way, they caused piracy. You know, like people got a clean copy of this movie, and then it's on the torrent sites. So there's people that say that they lost a lot of money due to piracy, and if that it makes sense, So you got less people paying for it at all, and then you have less people going to the box office because they can watch it at home. And we're living in a time where people are scared to get out. The best thing they could have done is not released it yet, just sit on it longer. It sucks, but and it's weird though. Like how long are you gonna sit on this movie? You know what I mean? You gotta release it. So
Kevin Feige was reportedly against releasing it streaming too, and he was he's been pretty pissed. Like Edward had written before about him versus Bob Chapek. Yeah. So and everyone's gonna be like, look, she got $20 million. Well, it's $20 million more than I have, blah blah, all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, all the other actors get the top salaries, right? Then why should she have to settle and be bullied to not get the money that she was supposed to get through her contract? And she waited for years to get this feature film, right?
Yeah. And like you told me earlier, other Warner Brothers, they paid out with like 200 million, and I saw another number that said it could be up to close to $1 billion in losses of different payouts that they did.
That's crazy, but they did it quietly.
Yeah,
right? Like I just found that out the other day, but I also read that Bob Chapek, you cited one of the emails. There's a bunch of emails that have leaked and that are out there, but he doesn't want this to go to trial, I bet, because he doesn't want all this evidence to be shown in discovery, right? Because once it gets to the discovery stage, then he's screwed, and he just started taking over this. But Bob Iger, when he renewed his contract, and it was stocks, he got paid in like $16 billion in stocks or something. So boom, stocks go up in Disney Plus, he gets more of a bonus, and same with Bob Chapek too.
That's exactly right. That's written down in my notes. Was like, what's the motivation to do this? They didn't care how the they're not worried about her. They need the subscriptions to go up so that their stock prices go up, and then they bonus, and that's how they're making money. So that is like a corrupt motive. And there's also the idea too is if you lure people to watch it at home instead of watching it in the theater, you don't hit those benchmarks, and that's less bonuses you have to pay Scarlett Johansson. So that you got a double whammy. You don't have to pay Scarlett Johansson. You also cut out the theaters. The theaters, like, they get 30%, and so and they're all pissed right now because of this thing. They're pissed. So you cut out the theaters, and then like the money they made $60 million on Disney Plus. That's all profit that they don't have to share. I think I looked it up. I was looking different sources, and I heard one source said that she did get a cut of that. I don't know if that's true or not, but if
this will come out more. But the fact that they slapped back with her on that press statement, ousting her salary about it, like trying to make her sound greedy, that's just not good.
That's like good. A public smear, man. Like,
And now there's reports that Emma Watson.
Emma Stone,
and Emily Blunt are thinking about doing the same thing.
All the good-looking M's are getting in on it, man. Yeah, and it's crazy because that's the thing. If they would have just done it ahead of time before they released it, said, "Okay, look, hey, quietly, we realize that the movie theaters aren't quite up to snuff yet. Things are going on, especially with the Delta variant kicking in and all these things. There's certain areas are good, certain areas aren't. But it's like, I mean, how could they have released that and not said anything? You know what I mean? There was a
blind side, right? So what needs to happen is Chapek needs to get gunned.
I even had a quote. It was like, it blows my mind that Disney didn't have conversations of how streaming revenue would be allocated versus box office revenue long before today. It's crazy. Rush. He says WB paid a bunch of money to pull that shit with the talent. Still lost Nolan. Yep. WB lost a lot of stuff this year. It seems like the unions and agents in Hollywood need to do a better job of protecting their actors and filmmakers at the indie level. You're on. Whoa. You're on your own. There's no excuse. The higher the ladder you climb. There we go. Sorry, I'm having vision issues. All right. Yeah. It's true, man. And they do. What's weird is this situation is never before seen thing. So it's like they had no way of knowing, and like going forward, they could make special constellations and stuff. But in the past, they had no idea this was going to happen. And then you got this movie that's made. They were ready to put it out. Oh, we got to wait. Who would have thought that we're going to be sitting here in this situation a year later? The deal is, if you're going to just release those movies, you need to take care of your people. And that's what Warner Brothers did and Disney didn't do. And then,
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah. Also,
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
the other thing she's arguing too is that the other thing she's arguing too is that she's been out promoting this movie, and people that are scared to go to movie theaters but want to see her movie that she's promoting are subscribing to Disney Plus, and that she's basically bringing in subscribers. So she's like, cool, you guys want to short me on my bonuses, and you guys want to do this so that you get more subscribers and so that you get more money and you get bonuses, but you're going to cut me out, and I'm the one out there doing all the promoting and work and luring in people. Well, then I want a cut of your money that you're making. And so she's suing for that. And it sounds excessive, but when you think about it, on one hand, she is pulling in subscribers, but on the other hand, it sounds a little crazy to say, because it's never been done before, to say, hey, but and I saw somebody else talking today too. It's like, hey, if they give her some of that, then what's to prevent the Mandalorian people to be like, hey man, we bring subscribers, where's our cut? And then you got Loki is like, hey, what the hell, where's my cut? And how would they do that? Then all of a sudden there's less profits, and it's crazy. Obi-Wan is coming out soon. Hallelujah. I cannot wait to see Obi-Wan. I'm so stoked for Obi-Wan. What do you guys think? Do you think do you think Scarlett's being a overdoing it, or do you think she's entitled? She should just take her to her 20 mil and go. She's already worth over $100 million. Like, just go hang out in your giant house and don't worry about it. Or do you think she's like, F these billionaires? Like, who knows how much those execs are worth, but everybody knows execs are worth a lot. Should you think she's right for saying, screw you guys are trying to F me over? I want nope, not today. What do you guys think? Let's look at the chat here. Marvel Studios is starting to make Keelar and the WB clown table sound competent. I know, it's like going full circle. We're like, dude, why don't you get your crap together like Disney? And now we're like, oh man, what the hell are y'all doing over there? The other thing too is if they start paying out a whole bunch of money, they might not have as much money to make new stuff, which is a crazy thought. Like, oh no, if they change the format, what they should be doing is giving everybody a buttload of money at the beginning, the way that Netflix does. Knives Out, they give them like $482 million to make 3 Knives Out movies. Like, okay, cool, that's done, you're paid. End of story. There's no back end like a theatrical release.
Seems like Disney Plus is trying to milk the margins as much as it can before they have to start paying for the big talent.
Totally. And like they just figured out, okay, if we put some good shows up here and we make it a household name, and everybody wants to, you don't have Disney Plus at your house? Oh, we're going to Joe's, not Steve's. Man, those are just some random boring names. Let's see. Nah, it's the principle. She's going for what she's worth. She absolutely is. And then they argue too. There's an argument that she's only that big because of the Marvel movies. You know what I mean? Like, and when she does solo stuff, it doesn't always. You know, it's not.
lie!
Yeah, I'm like, whatever, dude. I love Scarlett Johansson. Let's see. Good. What other comments we got? Good morning, Multiverse Productions. Yeah. Anybody else? Who's on? Good morning from where I am, James. Anybody on Disney's side out there? Anybody think that Disney is like they're doing the best they can in this pandemic? It's a hard time. You think that? Anybody? I was trying to find. No, I don't think so. I think everybody knows that it's Mr. Burns sitting up in the office, trying to maneuver ways of making more profit.
Bob Chapek and Bob Iger, they tried to pull a fast one, and then they tried to shut her up about it, and now it's just going to backlash on them. Nothing can be simple anymore.
And does this mean we're not going to get any more? You think this means we're not going to get any more Scarlett Johansson Disney appearances?
No, they'll pay her.
Yeah, you think they'll pay her?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Probably to shut her up. The thing
is,
is,
if they don't pay her, like her character's already killed off, but that's gonna look really bad on Marvel, and I don't think Kevin Feige would allow that because he's pretty livid about this, I imagine. So
yeah. And, well, what about Emma Stone? You think she's gonna get? You think they're all gonna get paid? They're just gonna have to cough up their money to because this isn't a forever thing. This is a time period that we're talking about. The
agents are talking to the executives at Disney right now, and they're hatching stuff out between Emma Stone and Emily Blunt, and I bet you The Rock will probably step up too, and some other like. How come we haven't heard from any of the actors in the Marvel universe? I bet they will. You know, because Robert Downey Jr. Didn't he after the first Avengers or something? I remember that he got together with all the cast and the agents and demanded more money for all the cast.
Oh,
it
yeah,
wasn't just him. Yeah, he was a big proponent about getting them paid higher too. So
there's also talk about him. He hasn't been doing much social media stuff to do with Marvel at all. And
he unfollowed everyone on IG and stuff.
Yeah, and then also he wasn't voicing the Iron Man in the What If show. Yeah. So it's people are wondering, hey, I wonder what's going on. If there's anything to that, if it has to do with weird drama, I don't know. Clint seriously has the voice of a radio personality. Good job, Clint. Hey, thanks, Multiverse Productions. Today's small screen is brought to you by Multiverse Productions. Disney is backing the money trucks. Yeah, they got to back those money trucks up. They're gonna need a lot of trucks, man. And I heard earlier today too that like Denzel got settled with a $20 million settlement for a movie he did. You know what I mean? And I think
what film was that?
I don't even remember the name. It was a girl's name. I can't remember it, but it was a movie that came out, and I'm trying to even remember where I heard that. I've been reading and listening to podcasts all day, but yeah. So it's crazy. It's crazy what'll happen. What's I think they're going to settle quietly. I think you're right. They will settle, and I think it'll be under the table. It'll probably be a non-disclosure agreement, and we're going to give you a big chunk of money. We don't even want anybody to know how much because we don't want other people to get greedy and come and try and get more money out of us. So which is how I would handle it.
Probably shaking at the boots too. If anything goes to Discovery, then it's he rose the ranks to get there, and then he's already screwing it up. So he's probably on thin ice already at the studio.
Yeah, and also this Disney stock is down a couple of points too. The Disney stock went down, so now they're it's just trouble all around. You know what I mean? Trouble in paradise. I think even Marlon Wayans gets paid for Batman Returns.
Yeah, I think he does. I think I did read that because he was supposed to be Robin, right? And then they went and completely rewrote that and didn't cast him. So.
Dude, a contract's a contract, and if you switch it up without renegotiating, you're screwing up, and she's got a leg to stand on, and it's and I'm sure she's got a really good lawyer, and it's easy to twist things around. It's like, you want to fight this fight? Well, or do you just want to shut up and pay me? It could be more expensive. It's cheaper to pay her off. Just give her the money, and we want stock prices up. We don't want any drama whatsoever.
And I hope that, her agent is the co-founder of CAA. Like, they represent a lot of people in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people. The CAA is huge. I almost went with the CAA booking side for music at one point. But
oh yeah. William Morris Agency was very big back in the 90s too, when Terrence and Rodriguez came out.
I have some friends that I have a friend who's an agent at CAA, and a friend who was a casting director back in the day, and stuff. It's funny too, like back when I was still touring and doing my thing and a lot younger. I went to LA and had meetings with all these different people, and like it went into CAA. It sat down, had a meeting with an agent, and I was like, yeah, I'm a singer. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm like, I'm a singer for Columbia Records recording artist Riddlin' Kids, and I want to be in some TV shows or movies, and they're like, okay, cool. And I had a friend that got me that because of my look in the music video, she's a casting director, and they got me on an episode of House, which is the doctor show, which is cool. but it was really cool to go in there. And I went into Brookstone Entertainment, Will Smith's production company, sat down. I went and sat down with some script writers, and I was like, yeah, I could write scripts. Let's do this. And just these weird opportunities that I had, like 9 meetings all over LA in one day. And
Beautiful.
it was crazy opportunities that a lot of people that are like film school and stuff would have killed me to take that spot. And I was just a bumbling lead singer of a band. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Pretty funny.
It's like when Rodriguez went to LA to shop El Mariachi to the Mexican video distributors, and then someone got a hold of it in one of the studios, and then they kept flying him back to have dinner at Disney and Touchstone and Sony and all that stuff for like a whole week.
And then next thing you know, he's Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, and he doesn't play well with studios anymore.
Yeah, Rebel Without a Crew. I'm sure you've read that book, haven't you?
About 1 billion times. I learned more from that book than I did from going to film school. From that book and volunteering on film sets, no joke. I learned more from those 2 things than I did actually going to film school, man. Like, that book is it's like almost a Bible to me.
It's a fantastic book, and a lot of people. I like how we jumped from Scarlett Johansson to talking about, but this is
Hollywood.
this is a fun, this is Hollywood. But you can accomplish more just by jumping in the water than making sure you have the right trunks on. You know what I mean? Like, just jump in and get it done. You need a light.
Those doors.
Yeah, you don't and you don't have the right equipment. Fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, cool, I got these floodlights. Do these work? Like, I thought that was super cool. And
when you're working for like Marvel or Warner Brothers or whatever, you're still faking it till you make it. You're always faking it. But fresh out of film school is like, after I did the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing in Columbus.
Yeah.
I got back. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now that contract's up? So I called K&B Effects in Austin.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but what did you do with Arnold? Because I don't know, and maybe some of the listeners don't know either. So this would be an interesting story, because I've never heard this.
I just finished a documentary, editing a documentary and TV spots for this film called Drop Dead Roses. This Toronto film. Dante from Clerks was in it, and I got to play pool with him at the wrap party. It was pretty cool. But
cool.
So I'm like, okay, that contract's done. I'll go draw some comic books or whatever. And then I was at a surprise birthday party for a friend of the family, and her husband runs a Taekwondo studio in the city in Ontario. And he's like, oh, I heard you work in film. Blah, blah. I was like, yeah. He goes, okay. Well, I have this. We should talk because I have this thing I'm doing with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's under the World United Martial Arts Association in Columbus, Ohio, because his kids love martial arts now. So his old Power Man competition, they combined it to the the Columbus World Games. And so I was 21 years old. I was head of media for the Arnold World Games. I got paid $7 an hour. Had to use my own equipment. Had to pay for my own plane fare from Columbus, Ohio to Florida. But I got to meet Master Che, who was like this 70-year-old martial artist, and he was maybe 4 feet. And I was in my prime. I was boxing, but he could kick my ass. You know, I get like 5 hours a night. And if you ever want to have a crazy time, maybe you've done this because with your band scene and all that stuff. But partying with martial artists in a hotel bar is absolutely nuts. Like one of the craziest nights I've ever had. But yeah, so after that. Now I don't even know where I was. Oh yeah, I called KMBFX, and I talked to B in the KMB. I said, "Hey, this is James. My assistant in Toronto lost Robert Rodriguez's contact information to Troublemaker Studios. Can you give me the phone number and then the address?" He's like, "Yeah, okay, no problem." So he gave it to me. So I would call Troublemaker Studios about once a month. And if you're listening out there, Chris, get in contact with me. And I just talked to the CG guy that was working on Sin City and all those films.
Cool.
But once a month, I just BS my way into it just to make that connection, right? You have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta and my dad always said too, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. But yeah, that's like sometimes you gotta just finesse the situations. I did a very similar thing too, and I just kept calling the radio stations and stuff, and
Right.
and kind of weaseled my way to getting played on the radio. And it was man, even my first gig in playing in bands in Austin, I showed up to the venue and gave them pizza. I worked at a pizza place. I brought them pizzas and wings, and then we got a show. Okay, cool. First time to get played on the radio, I showed up to the radio station with pizzas and bribed them, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll play you," and they play.
Yep.
It's hilarious. So
that's like that's what Brendan Fraser should have done in Airheads.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you have to be tenacious, right? You have to be tenacious to make any kind of impression to get in there. So
yeah, and that's what a lot of people just think it's magic or like, yo, you can't get in the movies. That's like it's like winning the lottery. It's not. You just have to sacrifice everything and put yourself in the position. And only a few people have the fortitude to actually follow through with what, to do what you need to do. And those people make it. And there's a few people that suck that don't, but it's like but that's a big part of it. It's like, that's probably 90% of it, and this much talent, yeah.
Well, you'd lock yourself in the garage and practice for 10,000 hours and keep knocking on doors. So
yeah. Look, let's see, we got some comments. Let's look at the comments. Yeah. Oh my God, cousin, I've been watching last week's stream the whole time.
Well, glad you're back. Glad you're on the right one.
Yeah, good to have you, Curtis. We're talking about Scarlett Johansson suing Disney, and does she have a leg to stand on? I think she does, because you don't change the terms of a contract. Sounds about right. LOL. MMA guys are insane.
Yeah, and this was before UFC. I remember I went to the store or something. We were in Florida at this hotel, and it was raining. So I was like all drenched, and I go up the hotel room, and boss has the MMA champion of the world. He's like 25, 26 in there. And I walk in, and I'm all drenched and stuff, and he looks, he's like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "Oh, it's 21. He's like, "Oh, you look like you're 17. I'm like, "Oh, nice to meet you." You know what I mean? He was a bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
But I got to meet the guy that actually, cool side story. Wuma, Master Che, had the rights to the Bruce Lee Museum, right? So they put me in charge of curating it when we went over to Florida. So we had the jumpsuit from Game of Death, the gloves that he fought Bolo in and Enter the Dragon. I got to wear those. Cool. I got to meet the guy that trained him on nunchaku. A bunch of stuff. It was, man, I didn't get paid a lot, but it looks great on a resume. Is like you can't buy that experience when you're just like second job out of film school, man.
Oh no. And you're supposed to pay your dues for a long time anyway. You know what I mean? That's you just working your way up. That's awesome.
Well, I volunteered at the Toronto Film School for like 5 months before I actually got hired. You know, I was living on Mr. Noodles and Kraft Dinner.
Mr. Noodles, is that a Canadian ramen?
Yeah, it's Canadian ramen. Yeah.
Nice. Just curious. Ours, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what our noodles are called. Dude, I one time hung out, partied with a gymnast girl in a bar, and that was crazy.
This is a PG-13 stream, by the way.
Yeah. I got you. No, but I was gonna say it's crazy because she just grabbed the top of this bar and then and was able to hold on to it and just lifted her whole body up and then was like doing the crazy. Everybody in the bar stops, and then, of course everybody bought like the shots from everywhere came in. It was crazy. I was like, "Do you always do that?" She's like, "Absolutely. It's the cheapest way to go to a bar." I'm like, oh, it's like, damn, I should have gotten into gymnastics. Yeah.
Are you related to this Curtis Baker?
Curtis Baker? Not really. Howdy, folks. I'm not really related, but I've known the man for many years. He used to live in Austin, and we always joke that we are cousins. And he's a good dude. Yeah. I only meet athletes here in Charlotte and a few times at Disney World. Never met anyone that's been in a movie. Only thing close was Vanna White. Well, if you're gonna meet somebody that's not in a movie, Vanna White's who you want to meet. That's a good one.
Yep. I met I was doing security outside of John Cusack's trailer during when he was filming Serendipity.
Uh-huh.
And I was told not to let anyone in the parking lot without a pass. So this guy pulls up in a car and he doesn't have a pass. I'm like, sorry, I can't let you in. He rolls down and he goes, I'm the director. I'm like, oh crap, okay, go ahead, right? I should have been like, oh man, take me under your wing and let me shadow you for everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, so I'm looking at John Cusack's trailer and I'm like, who was that? Peter Chelsom. I was outside his trailer and I see someone walking through the windows. Like I can just see the shadow of someone walking through the windows. And so I'm like, oh, is he in there? Is he in there? If you see him, play it cool, don't blow it, whatever. So he bikes past me on this yellow mountain bike and stops, puts it next to the trailer, looks at me, goes, hey man. I go, hey. It's like, you're awesome in high fidelity, man. I was like, oh fuck. I screwed up. And then he went in and he came out, he's like, hey, where's the nearest Starbucks? I'm like, okay, well, over that 10-foot wall. You just got to go around the block. He's like, all right, thanks. He ran at the wall, scaled it, and then just
really?
Yeah, like 10 feet. I was so impressed with John Cusack.
Oh,
yeah, I've met quite a few, like probably like you have, Clint. I've met quite a few actors and actresses and people working in film and even musicians too. Like I've got a whole Tom Green story I could tell you. I used to go and I used to be head of the chat room on his website, and I used to go and hang out with Tom Green and Glenn Humplick and all those guys before they got picked up to MTV and moved to the States. Yeah. Just go spend the weekends there.
Was he as crazy before he was on MTV?
Oh, he was better before he got on MTV.
Oh, yeah.
But he was crazy. But whenever he would come back to Toronto and host an open mic at like the Rivoli or whatever, or when he was touring with one of the guys from BC Boys, I can't remember who it was, but they did he did a rap tour.
Yeah,
so he'd always like message us or call us, be like, hey guys, I'm coming into town or whatever, and then we go for drinks with him. And he's completely the most chill, calm, down to earth guy when he's not performing. You know, like he's just crazy as a performer. So, and I see Jonathan Barr says he met Russell Crowe when he was shooting Beautiful Mind. A scene was shot in my school. Oh, that's really cool. I was in Cinderella Man. I played a newsboy in the stadium. I'm like one of the extras. So. And I would love to meet Danny Trejo.
Yeah, I've heard I've a lot of friends who've seen him in Austin, and all said he's just awesome, like super cool to meet and talk to.
That's why I want to go to Austin, Clint, because I want to meet Tarantino. And man, when I was 25 and I had a contract up before I started my studio, I was like, should I go to Austin, Texas, and Fight Club styles with a duffel bag and just sit outside Troublemaker Studios? Be like, just mold me, just take me in and mold me.
I'll clean your toilets. Just take me in.
I seriously thought about doing that, man. Grabbing a bus ticket and doing
that. And yeah, just tell them I just jumped on a bus. Everything I own is in this bag. Take me in. Dude, I have a friend that was there's a club in Austin called the Continental Club. It's pretty well known. It's kind of like the Viper Room of LA. You know what I mean?
I thought it was gonna be like John Wick.
Yeah, no, no, it's a little club that and you have high profile people. You'll have Dennis Quaid will go in there and play, and you'll have Dennis Quaid, and then like Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top will pop up and start playing, and then all of a sudden Johnny Depp will walk in and just jump on guitar, and they were like, "What the hell is happening?" And like, and you'll be like, "Dude, I was 2 blocks away from it," and this is right across where the movie Russell Crowe. Not Russell Crowe, Kurt Russell.
Oh, when they're doing Death Proof?
Yeah, it's like right across the street from there. It's like maybe half a block down the street, across the street from there. It probably drove by it and was in the shot. If I'll watch it later and see if I can find it. I'll point it out to you. But anyway, but yeah, so my buddy's working the back door of this club, my drummer actually, and this guy comes up and he's like, hey, and they told him nobody goes in. He's like, hey, I need to get in here, and you reminded me of this when you told me you were the door security guy, and guy walks up and is like, hey, I need to get in here, and he's like, sorry, bud, nobody gets in. He's like, I need to go in. He's like, nobody comes in the back door. You got to go around to the front if you want to get into this place, period. And he's like, mate, I'm Robert Plant. I don't go in through the front door. And then he's like, oh crap, sorry, sir. You know, let him in. But like, oh shit, you got Robert Plant getting in here.
Oh man, I would have loved to meet Robert Plant.
Yeah, this is crazy. Oh, Curtis, I did too. Curtis says he met the Undertaker. I met the fucking Undertaker there while I was wrestling. What's funny is I was pumping gas one time, or I was getting gas, and I came out to the pump and I saw the Undertaker, and he saw my face. I was like, and he looked away really fast. He didn't want to be seen. He was like, he looked, and I could tell he was like, ah, crap, I'm gonna have to talk to this guy. You know what I mean? And he's probably having a normal day, like and wanted to run his errands, and yeah, he looked away, and I was like, are you? And he goes, yeah. And I go, you're badass. And I went and got in my car. I didn't even go bother him. I was like, okay, this guy doesn't want to be talked to, and I'm not going to bother him. But I just was like 2 thumbs up, and I got my car and left.
There you go.
Yeah. So being that you're a martial arts fan, James, what do you think about recently Quentin Tarantino's been talking about like Bruce Lee and how Bruce Lee mistreats stuntmen and stuff?
I can see it. I mean, even I think even his daughter wrote something like akin to that in the book she wrote about him too. You know, it was mostly well known in Hollywood that he kind of looked down on stuntmen, except the stuntman that worked on him on Green Hornet. He went through quite a few of them, and then this last guy, I can't remember. I
had a long conversation with a good friend of mine, and he was
I can't remember his name, but because Bruce Lee would tag them, right? Like he would actually connect with the stuntman, and then so what happened was this one stuntman, Bruce actually respected him because he would never complain. He'd always get up, right? And then that guy stuck with Bruce Lee for like years, and then that kind of relationship, is what that was one of the catalysts that Tarantino said got him interested in the whole stuntman thing, right? So yeah, I think his portrayal of Bruce Lee was okay. So in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you're setting up Brad Pitt's character to be a complete badass. You know, you have to make him, because later on when he's in the ranch and he's surrounded by all these bad people in the Manson gang, that's a good justification. Like, you need a justification, a pretext to show how much of a badass he is. You know, can't just say, oh, wife had an accident on a boat, or did he murder her, right? So the Bruce Lee sparring was great, and it really really earned a lot of credence to his character. for that scene at the ranch and the end scene when he's taking on the home invaders. So like it makes perfect sense. And if you're gonna do it with anyone, do it with Bruce Lee for sure. And I like that it's a different take on Bruce Lee that we don't usually see, where everyone's like glowing and gushing and all that stuff. It's more of a unique take that we don't get to see all the time. And as a huge Bruce Lee fan, since I was like a little kid, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was good. And unfortunately, Shannon Lee didn't like it, and there was that big kerfuffle about it. But
yeah.
They
kind of made him look a little bit like a kind of a cocky prick. You know what I mean?
He had an ego. He had an
yeah.
ego. I mean, when I met the guy who trained him in Nunchaku, and then I met it's funny because he says that kickboxer asshole Joe Louis.
Yeah.
Right. And he goes, Joe Louis, the boxer, not the kickboxer asshole. And that's a line from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that Bruce Lee says. And I met Joe Louis, and I couldn't understand at the time why he was kind of reprehensive to me, like when I was talking about Bruce Lee, but now I understand. And it was funny when that line came up, I laughed because that just confirms the canon that I grew up in my 20s. So
well, my buddy was saying that in the Hong Kong movies, like that's a thing. Like you do tag the you do tag the stunt people, and that's where he came from. And so that's just how you do it. And then he comes over and starts working with Western stuntmen, and they don't like to be touched. Where it's like, oh, you're not doing it right if you're not tagging the guys. Like you're not knocking them out. But you do hit them in Hong Kong movies and stuff. We got all of this because I was talking to my friend about Snake Eyes, which I don't know if you guys anybody saw Snake Eyes. Anybody out there see Snake Eyes? If you did you like it?
Anyways, but EJ says he's Bruce Lee. I bet he had a hell of an ego. But you also have to look where he's coming from. Like he was coming from Hong Kong, where the Asians weren't really portrayed in Hollywood cinema very well. Even shows that in Dragon and Bruce Lee Museum movie. But he was a small guy, and he probably didn't get the respect he deserved. He got screwed out of Kung Fu with They cast David Carradine, the white actor, instead. So of course he's gonna have a bit of ego to protect himself, and to make sure he gets what he deserves. And this goes back to Scarlett Johansson, where she doesn't really have an ego, but she's suing because she needs to get what she deserves. All the other actors got so much money and their feature films, and they got so much off the back end, but now she gets screwed and the rug gets pulled out underneath her because she doesn't get that much back end, right? Because they all switched to streaming.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Willis thinks he's a damn director. One of the funniest stories I've ever heard about Bruce Willis was Kevin Smith and talking about working with Bruce Willis. That was great. And that boy Steve, we're talking about me sitting at my computer late at night, and my girlfriend is on the couch behind me, and my monitor's like a flat screen TV right now. And I pull up Twitter, and the first tweet I see is a retweet by that boy Steve with this anime cosplayer with big breasts like the size of basketballs. As I turn, I'm like, oh honey, I'm like, holy shit. And she's like, yeah, those are fake. I said, no, I didn't expect that boy Steve to tweet that. So
that boy Steve, what are you doing, man? Man, we've been talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. We were talking about Scarlett Johansson suing the pants off of Disney. We'll see how that works out. Is she entitled? Does she have a leg to stand on? Whose side are you on? I think most of us are on Scarlett's side. And in case anybody else just got here, it's because the people in control of when and how the movie came out did it because they wanted to increase subscriptions for the layperson at Disney Plus, so that they would get higher stocks, and the higher their stocks are, the more they bonus. So they are profiting by doing that. Also, by not by reducing the box office money, they don't have to bonus Scarlett Johansson, so it's like a double whammy. So that's what we were talking about. Then we started talking about,
she's an executive producer on the film too.
Yeah. It's not like she's been with the franchise for a decade. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. And when you have other major studios like Warner Brothers that are paying out their people, they're settling this thing. They're like, hey, we don't want any trouble.
Well,
We're
they
just
didn't
gonna
want any more bad press. They couldn't afford anymore.
yeah.
But hey, it's Arnold's birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, bear with me, everyone. It's Arnold's birthday, so we're doing this.
Yeah.
Cocainum.
I don't do requests.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
You son of a bitch.
It's showtime.
Funny guy, Sully.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Enough talk.
Dick what?
Then the hell with you.
The hell with you.
The hell you will.
Who the hell are you?
Shut up.
Shut up. Shut up!
Are we done? Anybody
Crush your enemies. See them driven before you. And hear the lamentation of the women.
All right, Clint, go ahead.
I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting
the lamentation of the women. Do you guys know what that means?
Yes, we talked about this.
Yeah, I thought it's the
Laminating?
It's the screams after you destroy your enemies and
Yeah.
their bodies are out in the battlefield. The wives go to go claim their dead husband, and they're like, they're lamenting. It's their sad cry. The lamentation of the women.
Clint, you gotta smack your mic box.
My mic box?
Yeah, you're cutting out there.
Yeah, you got me now?
That's better.
All right. That was weird.
Like that?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I wonder if I was screaming too loud. I was lamenting way too loud. I'm a friend of Sarah Connor. Hi, Sarah Connor. Can you hear me now? Am I still cutting out?
Good. You're
Okay,
good.
cool.
Put that cookie down! Now!
Oh boy. So anybody see that Ayer letter? Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's some craziness. What did you make of that? And I'll tell you what I made of it. Or do you want me to tell you what I made of it?
I got it. I think.
And then you tell me what you made of it.
I think it's just him. I think that's been festering a long time, and he had to say his piece. And at the same time, he just wanted to get the conversation over with.
Mhm.
And the timing is specifically. The timing is really good because it's just before James Gunn's movie opens up, and he doesn't want this release Ayer Cut stuff to trample on any other artists' endeavors in the film industry or their success in the industry. No matter it's the studio's fault, it's not the other director's fault, you know. So a lot of the release Ayer Cut stuff has probably been bothering him a lot. The toxic stuff, anyways, or the negative stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those are the motives. And then who gains? He obviously gains, and the fans gain because he admitted that the cut exists, which he did before. But and I think we'll be getting it, and they'll announce it, but it'll be after James Gunn's The Suicide Squad comes out, you know, if they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think of it.
That's exactly what I said. Like, and I saw somebody on Twitter that was talking about before that letter came out, was talking about the Ayer Cut, and I go, look, dude, if it is going to come out, it's not going to be right now with the new Suicide Squad. The confusion, you think they're really going to release that? We have Suicide Squad and Ayer Cut and the Suicide Squad. Every search, all the SEO alone, it makes that no way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to have it anytime soon. And I wonder if there's some, maybe he just wrote the letter and is like, I got to get this out, you know, let my fan base know, hey, I'm a fighter, and you know, and but hey, don't I think it's like basically don't review bomb these other guys, people that are my fans. Don't hate on them. That's not their deal. Just like you said, you know. So it's pretty crazy. I think that's what it was. Basically, okay, I'm gonna do you guys a favor, and we're not gonna review bomb anything, and I'm gonna try and get my people to be cool, and maybe you guys will do me a favor. We can release this thing on HBO Max or something, which I would love to see. So, yeah. I just thought that was interesting. I saw that last night. And I was like, oh wow.
It was nice that he wrote that letter. But I want to respond to Ayer was staying silent, but too many people were shitting on the Suicide Squad when reviewing TSS. They had to say something and didn't want to take the blame for a movie that wasn't really his. Yeah, see, I've had a whole problem with this release Ayer Cut movement where like it's not everyone, but there's been a pretty vocal minority that's been shitting on James Gunn, and it kind of goes to what EJ says here. WB gives the director complete control on the Suicide Squad. Okay, I know what you're getting at here, but what do you want, EJ? Like, they're learning from their mistakes, obviously. That's progress, right? So would you rather them screw James Gunn's vision too, and then it's a broken record, or are you guys just upset because he chose the Suicide Squad because he's been a fan of that comic book since he was a kid? I don't know. I just don't think that it's the release. I mean, okay, so restore the Snyderverse movement. We had a target, right? It was Hamada and it was WB executives and stuff. With the Suicide Squad, people can see it as doing a disservice to the Ayer Cut. So yeah, the Ayer Cut deserves to get released, sure, but don't harp on James Gunn for that, you know?
Yeah,
and I could be in the minority here, but and then Kaz says, just announced the cut at DC Fandom to release mid-2020, 2022, I mean. And then who said that? Yeah, Sean says, but they announced at Fandom. Well, don't get your hopes up, man, because look what they announced last Fandom, you know what I mean? It was just a bunch of like the Plastic Man stuff and all that. Everyone's saying the DC Fandom will be the saving grace for Warner Brothers and the franchises and everything. I'm not going to put my eggs in that basket, tell you the truth, because last Fandom, we all got let down. You know, we all got let down. What we get? We got, it's just a bit frustrating for me just because I just don't put all your eggs in that basket. I don't think, we got this last time.
And I do think that moving forward, there's more opportunities for us to do things like this. And really, it at the end of the day, it's about the fans. And I think the fans want to see it. And it gives us a way to sort of explore maybe some different stories and different ideas and use the medium in a different way than it's been used thus far.
Yeah. Well, you got to have faith, Alfred, faith. You know, I think
yeah, but go do something else instead of yelling at people on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, you should, and also don't be shitty. I hate the review bombing that people do on movies and stuff. I hate that people do that because there's a lot of, we're talking about lost revenues for Scarlett Johansson and things like, but there's a lot of people that work on these movies, that aren't the face of these movies. And when people go in there and review bomb, it's like, man, like that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you got to have some better things to do than spend your time review bombing something. I don't know. Exactly. I can't fathom that. I'm too damn busy to go be an asshole to somebody that I don't even know. Like, what, really? Right. Like, I'm not even an asshole to people that I do know, but people I don't know, like, who cares what they're doing? If you don't like something, don't like it. Just, you don't have to go like, do you want me to do that again? Yeah, it's like Yelp. Yelp, for those, what Yelp is, where they review restaurants. Like, really, dude? You got that much time? You're gonna go sit in your car and talk smack about the waiter that forgot your iced tea or something? It's like, fucking, what do you do with your life? Like, you have that much time. I'm gonna finish getting this person fired, and then I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna make a bunch of fake reviews about this movie that I don't like the actor in. And like, dude, you need to get your shit together. Like, come on, man. Like,
well, hey, humanity created the greatest tool for us to gain knowledge and expand our brains and expand humanity as a whole, for us all to come together, and we use it to bitch online.
It's true. It really is true. It's funny too, because back in the old days, you had movie critics and stuff, but now everybody thinks that they know things and they think that their voice matters. And who's to say that it doesn't matter? But who's to say that it does matter? Like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Like to go like, I'm important. I feel important talking right now. And like, dude, and who am I to talk? I'm some douchebag with a YouTube channel, like whatever. But still, it's like, it's I don't know. It's funny. It's weird.
Just be aware of your stature in society. Right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is
and
like
be respectful. Like, why can't we be respectful online?
Exactly. I really feel like a lot of it is like, you know what, my boss chewed me out at work all day, or my wife or girlfriend was mean to me, and I'm gonna get even by go doing some downvotes on this guy's YouTube video or something. You know what I mean? It's like people are just looking for an outlet, and I don't know. It's weird. It is weird.
I'm not innocent. I mean, but there's certain ways you can do it. Like, right? Like,
yeah, totally.
You
like
make it funny, and but instead of like every time a director tweets something about his new movie, and then in the comments is like, "Well, why don't you tweet out, release the Ayer Cut, and show your support?" Well, how do you know he's not supporting behind the scenes? How he's the executives and saying, how can we make this happen or whatever? Or he hasn't talked to Ayer and said, hey, man, like, I'm going to do this. And are you cool? Or, hey, what is it good to work with? But James Gunn it was after the Disney firing. And then they came and, hey, you want it? So of course he's going to take it. And this is before the Snyder Cut was released and before all the Ray Fisher stuff happened and Hamada and Ann Sarnoff Deadline article and THR and all that stuff. He had made the movie, like it was done, So I don't know, just don't be mean, internet. Just don't be mean.
Guys. And it's the same thing too with YouTube channels too and stuff. It's like they'll serve up a certain details of something and spin it one way and maybe have their argument on something because or their perspective, and that's the thing that's my niche, or that's the way I'm approaching everything, and they get people all fired up about stuff that are going to go argue on Twitter, and it's like and a lot of the times they're just regurgitating stuff they heard from some guy on YouTube, you know what I mean, and they're not even thinking for themselves half the time, and it's hard.
100%.
Yeah, and it's hard too. Even the articles that we read, everything has got some kind of perspective or spin on it. So it's a matter of what your news outlet is, what you read, what you don't read, what you assume, and it turns into a game of telephone. So we're all so connected. We all have so much information. We don't know if it's real or not, and we're all just arguing about shit that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Because how do we know? How do we know what's real and what isn't? You know what I mean?
Were you in the room? I wasn't in the room.
Exactly. It's so weird. It's so crazy. Exactly. Sean Harrington says a drama equals money. Sadly, yes, I said this. I commented something. I commented on a Robert Meyer Burnett live stream about that. He was talking about He-Man. Have you seen any He-Man yet, James?
No, not yet.
Okay. Do you want no spoilers?
No spoil. Well, can we shelve that right now?
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that. I just kind of gotten through my Black Widow thing. But what else you got, man? What do you want to talk about?
What you're talking about, like the Kevin Smith thing and that drama, right? Can you keep it vague for me?
I can keep it vague where I don't. Where sort of. I can do that. Basically, there's a lot of things that are going on with He-Man, and if you've been watching, you'll know there's certain things where people don't like the way it turned out in the show, and I think he's doing some of these things to troll people a little bit, but also in a way that they're not going to make a simple. He wanted to make this for everybody who was a kid who used to watch this. Now as an adult, so we are more mature, and storytelling just now naturally is a bit different. So you have things like Game of Thrones that's doing crazy stuff where all of a sudden your heroes are assholes at one point, and then they're not later, and then you like the end of first season of Game of Thrones, Ned Stark, my favorite character, dies, or like there's just, and I noticed it like in Snake Eyes. I see Snake Eyes, and Snake Eyes is a total asshole. in the movie. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell's going on? The heroes or the bad guys, the good. It's like, and it's because I think they're trying to do new ways of storytelling to try to break new ground and be different and complex
Well,
and different. And instead of just like, I'm the good guy, I'm going to be the good guy, I'm going to have something that happens that makes it difficult, and then I'm going to resolve it at the end and the show's over. Like there's a lot of that for the history of cinema. And then, and
yeah,
I think they're trying.
You're talking character arcs, right? But
Yes, I'm talking the way, and even the way they present certain characters, the way they behave, the way they kill off people, all of that. And
like growing up, Marvel Comics was really dark and gritty, and DC Comics was very hopeful and light. And then when the studios, Warner Brothers, started making the Batman movies, they were like, Nolan was like pretty dark and gritty, you know. And then Marvel started making their movies, it switched, and they were like light and hopeful.
Yeah,
you know. And it's kind of like Batman from like the 50s and 60s. He was kind of campy, and then Neil Adams came in and upped it up a level to some realism, and then Frank Miller came with The Dark Knight, and then boom, it was all grim and gritty. And then that's when everyone, and then Watchmen by Alan Moore, and then everyone's like, oh, it's the same kind of thing with the studios. So they want, you're right, they want that unique, different taste. But I do want to respond. Okay, if Guns didn't have Guardian success, WB would have butchered his movies like Ayers. Kaz, isn't that what success is and stature in Hollywood? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Don't you agree, Clint?
Say that again.
Isn't that how success and stature works in Hollywood or in any career? You have a huge success, then you get more creative control.
Yeah, totally. Like he hit home runs with Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's like this guy's a comedic genius. He's like, we don't want the dark thing that Zack Snyder does anymore. We need a fun Marvel, aspect to our thing. That's what those guys think. And so then all of a sudden they're like, wait, what? The funniest, lighthearted, fun director of the Marvel franchise, is ready to come work for us? Let's go, dude. Yeah, whatever. You can have whatever you want. It's like, it's perfect.
They offered him Superman.
Yeah, right? and he's like, I want this. That is he chose that out of all of the things that they could do. He loves Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, he loves the
Suicide Squad.
Squad. So he's like, yeah, I want that. They probably
platform to being a dick without the consequence of being punched in the face. Agree 100%.
Totally.
People make way too many assumptions. Well, this is read the headline only syndrome, you know. People see a tweet with the headline and then they're like, okay, I'm ready to comment and I'm ready to bash on it without actually reading the article or watching the video. Now, sorry, I just want to catch up quick.
Yeah.
Sadly, asking humanity to be wholesome is like asking the sun not to rise. As much as you want it, it's never going to happen. Well, that boy Steve, with that kind of outlook, then that's what you're going to project in the universe and that's what you're going to get back. If you're just like, oh, I'm not even going to try, then the whole world's going to be shit anyways. So... I mean, that's what depression is for. You can just deal with it through depression. So now, Clint Smith's tried to be subversive and it backfired. Okay.
Yeah, here's the deal.
Okay, what's the definition of backfired, Kaz? I want to hear your thoughts, and this is why you need to get a mic, Kaz. But
he means it blew up in his face as far as everybody's fucking outraged.
Or was it just the mob Twitter mentality? That's my question.
It's both, but there's a lot of people that like the show. There's a lot of people that are fans. I've heard a lot of reviews. I liked T-Man.
But if you like something, you're not going to be as vocal as someone who's got a hard on to hate on it, right?
Of course. And then also the way He-Man ended, and Kevin Smith's already said this publicly, so I'm trying to hold back to not ruin your experience, James. But the way that everybody's butthurt about is that there's the next season, it's going to change. So there's it's gonna be different. So, and much like
one little line I read is like it's gonna be more He-Man focused or something. I don't know.
And so you know what that means, guys, if you've seen it. And so like, and it's like, oh, once I found that out, then I'm like, okay, so he's doing an arc. It's part of the arc. It's part of the roller coaster ride. It's not just like, okay, first season's done and this is the way it is, and you're like, what the fuck? It's the same feeling I got when like I said, Game of Thrones, when the first season ended, I nearly threw my remote at the TV because I was like, what? Like, what? Ned Stark died? Fucking bullshit. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse this much, but I was like I got pissed, and all these people that have are firing up their audiences that, oh, Kevin Smith, this and that. It's like, guys, he's just taking you on a ride. And there was a really cool article. It was a Variety or Deadline. I can't remember. It was one of the major trades that where he talks about getting approached by the was it Mattel? Is that the toy maker? Mattel? Yeah. About
Hasbro,
doing
Mattel.
It's Hasbro. That's who it is. I was like, Kenner, Mattel, Hasbro. He gets approached by the guy and about making this movie, and he's like, no, we want to do an adult thing and make it cool, and so I was like, okay, this is cool. Kevin Smith is trying to make this interesting.
Yeah.
He's not like the job was not to recreate He-Man the way it was back in the day. The job was to take these characters and move on a little bit more, and he tried to make it more interesting with today's crazy storytelling.
Yeah, if you read any of his comic book work, like Green Arrow and stuff, it's not surprising.
Yeah.
Kaz says Ayer got stature already way before 2016. Yeah, but did he get billions of dollars from one movie in the box office? Did he play well with the studio and create a movie that was entertaining to all the masses? No, he's the anti-hero kind of character struggling with their own inner demons, and he's got a dark look on the world because he was raised in a dark environment, which is understandable, and I love his movies, but it's not the same kind of success where Warner Brothers will be like, hey, here, you can have carte blanche with any movie you want of our superhero franchise because we know you play well with the studio, we know you get the characters, and we know you're going to bring in the money for us. And then that goes to what Rajnish says. To be fair, Gunn got his creative control because it aligned with the lighthearted tone that WB wants. Okay. Now, Rajnish, I think you're assuming here. This is what we're all hearing from internet gossip and stuff. But I think he got his creative control because it aligned with their box office money that they wanted to make. I don't think it was the lighthearted tone. Yeah, maybe they do want lighthearted tone. But I don't think the Batman is a lighthearted tone. It doesn't look like there's going to be a bunch of jokes and it's going to be, very light. So, but
yeah,
I'm interested to hear the responses to that.
The Batman doesn't look lighthearted at all. It looks dark. It's dark as hell. It looks like it's going to be awesome. I think
Kaz says he's a quality storyteller. Let him be. Don't sabotage it. Yeah, and I agree with that too. But again, this is the aftermath of BVS, and then once that happened, Warner Brothers got reactionary and cold feet and did a 100-degree change. That's the studio, and Ayer tried to make it his movie, but the regime back then was really, really crappy, and then even the new regime after that was even horrible. So again, they're learning from their mistakes with Gunn, but now Gunn is getting punished because he chose the Suicide Squad. If he chose anything else, I don't think it would be. And it's the release Ayer Cut movement, the bad ones in it that are, kind of and review bombing, like you were saying.
And also,
I meant Bagu.
Also, studios they hire trailer houses that make trailers, and that's their specialty, is to get all the footage given to them, and regardless of what the movie is really about, they make it look as appealing as possible. So they piece together the most appealing scenes that are going to, and that's why sometimes you go into a movie and it's a little different than this, I thought this was going to happen, but whatever brings people in the door. And so these guys put together the most fantastic trailer, and everyone was freaking out about the movie. They're like, oh, this is going to be badass. And they just said, okay, let's just have this trailer house edit the movie. And they edited the movie and fucked it all up. Those who don't, I'm only speaking the obvious. Most of y'all already know this shit, but
they gave it to Trailer Park, and they had never edited a feature film before in their life. And then that's why you get 6 different introductions to all the different characters. I want to see Ayer's cut. I've always wanted. We talked about this months ago. We've talked about it a bunch of times. Everyone knows I want to see the Ayer Cut, and it's going to happen. You know, I mean, Edward reported it months and months ago when David Ayer responded to the tweet and said not true, right? And it's probably, you know, it's the thing is they can't talk about it as much as we like the Batfleck movie. You know, they're not going to be able to talk about it until after the Flash. You know, you can campaign all you want, but if it's in the works, they can't say anything because then it'll spoil what happens in the Flash. You know, release the Ayer Cut. They can't say anything because it's going to take the limelight off of the Suicide Squad, right? So let's just like all calm down here, enjoy the content we're getting, right, and then see if it works.
Yeah.
Okay, and even BVS Ultimate Edition is far superior. They need to learn to stop interfering. It's all a clusterfuck. Look, I don't know. Here,
it is.
You see this? All those Batman, and I got more Batman figures downstairs, and Batman is like in my blood. I love Batman. But when I saw BVS, and I'm kind of on Team Edward here when it comes to this stuff, Batman doesn't kill, and I understand why Zack Snyder made him kill because it's more the Dark Knight Batman, and he doesn't specifically kill a guy, but if he shoots the car and the car blows up, that's okay. And like that's what Zack's quoting Zack Snyder. Batman v Superman could have been so much more. I enjoyed the film. I didn't watch it again after I saw it in the theater. You know, like I saw it in the theater and I didn't watch it again for years. I watched the Ultimate Edition, and it's good. It's good. Zack Snyder's Justice League is absolutely fantastic. I loved it. But even when BVS came out, and if WB didn't meddle in it, and we got the Ultimate Edition, the 4 hour, 3.5 hour, whatever it was, 3 hours, 20 minutes or something, I don't think it would have done $1 billion like WB was hoping for. You know, it's Zack Snyder was, you could see his vision, especially with the leaked storyboards, Justice League 1 and 2. 2 and 3. But he was taking too long to build up the characters where they needed to be for the masses to understand. And I think that's where WB was getting frustrated. And besides the light tone and the reaction of Avengers Age of Ultron and Avengers whatever. But yeah, I think he was just taking too long in the cinematic universe to get to the characters where we needed. We didn't get to see any Detective Bruce Wayne pretty much, or Detective Batman. We start off with the dark grizzled Batman. That's why I was interested to see Batman in the Suicide Squad with Ayer's Cut. I hope I get to see that, and I hope I get to see more. I just think I just can't put the blame on WB. You know, like if they let him do whatever, it still wouldn't have grossed $1 billion. You know, even the Ultimate Edition or not Ultimate Edition. I think his Justice League would have completely 100%. But that's Zack Snyder's learning curve, and he was taking his time setting up that universe and getting us the hopeful Superman and the beacon of hope Superman, maybe, and then Wonder Woman. But maybe we would have gone through all the nightmare, and then the heroes would have been. Just go watch the history of the Snyderverse. I've said it all in there with Edward.
Yeah. It really should have been two movies. It should have been Justice League 1 and 2.
Like
and
they wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they should have done, and because a 4-hour movie is dumb. So why not just have two 2-hour movies and everybody's happy? Yeah, and then release it straight to HBO Max. day and date, 1 week after another, so we can all watch it the first week, and then it was out the second week. It'd be awesome.
There you
go. What does that say here?
There are some parts in BVS that are cringe, unfortunately. Should have went with Metallo first instead of Doomsday and the Soul of Batman first. Yeah, the Doomsday, I didn't. Oh, man. Like, and maybe this is like my nostalgia glasses and just growing up with the death of Superman and the introduction of Doomsday and stuff. But I thought it was cool how they made him a clone of Zod, or like they spawned him from Zod. But I don't know. There's so much more that could have been done, I think. And yeah, there was some cringe. I mean, like, what's with the Jolly Rancher stuff? I don't understand the Jolly Rancher stuff. I think who?
Oh yeah,
what's his name? I can't. It's the guy who played Lex Luthor.
I can't think of his.
He's a
name.
brilliant actor.
Yeah, he's great. Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, he's a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
But he just didn't fit that Lex Luthor role. And I understand they were trying to bring in like a bit of zaniness plus some Gene Hackman from the original Donner films with that hair. But we had to wait that whole movie to see him bald and actually look menacing and evil, you know?
Yeah.
I understand character arcs, but it just took me out of it. I mean, you have Clancy Brown or you know what I mean? Like who could do the voice. He's amazing. Like you have so many actors that could be. Bryan Cranston would have been a great Lex Luthor, you know.
I
and it
think
really
they
surprised me that Zack Snyder went that route. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think they were just trying to bring it, like make it more of a modern day tech billionaire kind of a guy instead of like the old school, like, you know, like for Lex Luthor they want to make him look like a young you know, like he founded Facebook or something. Like they were trying to get that kind of a character, you know, to like modernize it. Which is
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
all right, what else?
I mean,
That's it. Oh,
Yeah,
new Ghostbusters trailer.
oh, that new Ghostbusters trailer was badass. And did you guys see that? If you haven't seen the new Ghostbusters trailer, guys, just dump the stream, go watch it right now. Dude, it looks like it looks like it's gonna
October now.
yeah. They don't want to have to sue they don't want to have to sue Sony for releasing it on Sony Plus. Oh, there is no Sony Plus. Yeah, like a Zuckerberg. That's exactly what I was talking about. I couldn't think of Zuck's name. Thanks, Sean Harrington. Harrigan.
Like,
I'm sorry.
the Earth is his toy to play with, but if he's a super genius, there was a better way for him to fight Batman and Superman against each other. And we only got 10 minutes of that fight scene, by the way. And it was a pretty good fight scene, but we only got 10 minutes of it, you know? And why did he kill Jimmy Olsen at the beginning of the film? I don't understand that. That's a whole character that they could expand on. Like he was a CIA agent, right? And then he just got shot in the face. I thought it was funny, right? I just want to know why he killed him, you know? So I don't know. And then the way they represented Batman was pretty good when he's like hiding in the corner in the ceiling and stuff. Like
that was badass.
Yeah, I could go on for this for like 2 hours. Like Batman's my boy, but I don't know.
Ghostbusters is still a thing.
Yeah, and RoboCop and Terminator is still a thing. How do you?
Yeah.
Have you not been watching?
Dude, the Ghostbusters trailer, it looks awesome. Like it looks really good. Really good. There's the Stay Puft Marshmallow guy, little guy. Yeah, and then Ecto 1 is badass. Like it just looks cool. It's like it reminds me of Stranger Things mixed with Ghostbusters, honestly. But it's Paul.
Got Finn Wolfhard in it.
Yeah, it's Paul Rudd. And he's always good. So it's I don't know. I think they got the right people.
What about that post credit end scene at the end of the trailer? Where's the occult gift shop? Did you see that? Is that the phone rings and it's an occult gift shop?
Oh, I didn't. I heard some.
Ray. It's Ray. He picks up the phone and goes and he
we're
says
closed.
Something.
Yeah, he says we're closed. Yeah. I didn't see it. I don't know if I saw a squirrel and I like diverted my attention, but I heard Dan Aykroyd say we're closed, and I was like, oh crap, is he?
Can't wait. That's gonna be good, and anything will be better than. I still haven't seen the 2016 one, to be honest with you.
I mean, there's a few good things in that, but it's a.
I mean, it's Ivan Reitman's son. It's Jason Reitman. Like, I mean, it's basically carrying on the legacy and his pure nostalgia glasses. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
I like the whole remote control car has the Ghostbusters trap on it. So when they're in the car, did you see that?
I didn't notice it was a remote control car. It was that's what they did
when they're in the Ecto and then the door slides out and that's how they capture ghosts while they're on the run because it's a remote awesome. Instead of having to slide the trap underneath the ghosts. Yeah, they'll just use the remote control car. So I'm really excited for it, and I think you're right. Paul Rudd's great and everything. So
yeah, he is awesome. Man, I'm stoked. You said October is when that's.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I know.
It'll be here before we know it. Well, who are we kidding? Think about how far back January. It feels like it was yesterday.
I remember saying to myself when I was saying, okay, I just have to stay alive until Batman v Superman comes out, and then if anything else happens after that, the world ends and I'm okay. That's how much I was rooting for that movie. I wanted to see that movie.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that? That was a long time.
That was like 2016, wasn't it? No.
Now it's borrowed time. Anything we got now is just bonus. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I want to see Tarantino's last film too. Yeah, it was 2016. BVS came out.
Wow.
So, what I want to do is I want to live till I'm like 150 years old, so I can see that film Robert Rodriguez made with John Malkovich and put in a vault. They made it for like some whiskey company or something. It's like a sci-fi film, and no one's seen it except probably Rodriguez and Malkovich. And they locked in the vault, and then they won't be open for 100 years.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's true.
How long is the film?
I think it's a feature. Let me look it up.
That's super cool. I've never even heard of this.
That's called 100 Years. I'll send you the teaser.
Wow.
It's an upcoming experimental science fiction film written by John Malkovich and directed by Rodriguez, advertised in 2015 with the tagline, "The movie you'll never see." It is due to be released on November 18th, 2115.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder. That's crazy. I wonder if that time traveler that we were talking about is seen it.
I don't know. He was wrong about the revolution in 2008. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy time travel stuff. There's some TikTok guy that's running around that's making these videos where there's no one around. He films places that there should be people and there's no people, and he claims to be a time traveler, and it's pretty creepy. If you do a little Googling, you might be able to find it. And I was like, whatever. Then I started watching, went down a rabbit hole watching this guy's channel, and it's pretty creepy. It's like after a while, it's creepy.
It starts to, like, your brain starts to be a sponge to that stuff. You start seeing the connections, or
you just start thinking, dude, this is a lot of big places where there should be people, and I don't know if it's maybe they're locked down for the pandemic or something.
That'd be the perfect time to do a video like that during lockdown.
It's multiple videos though. He keeps posting new videos, and he's walking around. I don't know if he's just finding places that are closed, and at one point the only flaw to is he was in a McDonald's on one of them. He's and there's nobody in the McDonald's, and he's walking in there, and it's you don't see anybody. And then, but I heard the fry alarm going off. So like, hey, time to pull the fries out of the whatever, and I'm like, that means there's somebody back there. That's like, maybe it was before they were open, and he's walking through, and there's nobody. But the fry alarm, I was like, if there were no people, nobody would be making fries unless he went in there.
Power on it either, too, right?
Well, there was power in places.
Yeah, but there would be if it was a apocalyptic scenario, or if it's just like no one was around, then they wouldn't waste the power.
Yeah, they wouldn't have power. But yeah, it was weird. It was pretty weird. And then I'm like, or maybe he went and made his own fries, and he had, and like, if you were the last, you start watching these, you start thinking like, if I was the last person, what the hell would you do? You just start walking around like, okay, I'm gonna go into this Subway and go into their walk-in and just start cooking for yourself, and then walk around to another business, and like, like what do you do if you're the last? It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think they made a movie or two about that.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, Last Man on Earth. Vincent
That's
Price,
weird.
Omega Man, Charlton Heston, and I Am Legend. Will Smith, all based off the same franchise, all remakes of each other. You know that? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Last Man on Earth was the first one. So,
yeah, it's pretty cool. Go do a Google search, find it. It's pretty neat.
I will.
Yeah,
I will. All right.
Yes, sir. Well, cool. You gonna wrap it up? And guys, we were talking a little about Snake Eyes. I did a video on my channel, Clint Baker, YouTube.com, Clint Baker channel, about Snake Eyes, and it is a spoiler review. So if you wanna hear me bitch about Snake Eyes, what Clint doesn't like everything. I liked and didn't like that movie. I enjoyed it, but I didn't like it. And I talk all about it. So thank you guys who have gone over and supported me since I've been on small screen and have also checked out my channel. I really appreciate the support.
Give them the likes and leave comments. Right.
Yeah.
Same with us too. Give us likes and leave comments. How many likes we got tonight? Not bad.
Awesome. Edward, if you're wherever you are, my friend, if you are watching this, we miss you, man, and we will hopefully we'll have you back next week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, let's give a shout out to our patrons.
Yeah, let's do it.
First, you can go to patreon.com/smallscreenco. And I'll be updating more. There's a few weeks where I didn't, but now I'll be updating a lot because there's a lot going on.
There he is!
And so, Kazakhs.
Danzig 1979.
Who didn't show up tonight? Sean Soundtrack.
Soundtracks. Bobby.
And Bobby. Hope you're doing well, playing your Switch, and hope you get an OLED Switch. And then you and Edward can team up on Animal Crossing. And then we also have the Sax God. Go ahead, play us off, Clint. Where can we reach you at?
You can find me at the OG Clint Baker on Twitter, and you can find me at Clint Baker YouTube channel, basically. The Clint Baker channel at YouTube, or you know what I'm saying.
Knock it off, you two. This is a
Live stream.
You can find me at 42cutcom on Twitter, and then at Small Screen, and behind the scenes of other things. So
yeah.
Right.
Boring. Well, cool, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting with us and interacting, and as we talk about the Scarlett Johansson thing and the Ayer Cut and all the other stuff out there in the world. And if you haven't seen that Ghostbusters trailer, go check it out. Have a great night. I'm gonna go see if Edward has anything in the fridge because I'm starving. So we will see you guys later. Once again on Small Screen. And have a great night.
Like and subscribe and be nice on me.
Anyway, enough about our balls.
That was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. This is crap. Clint, you ruined my show. James, how could you let him do this? Clint, this show was terrible. Hello, Harrigan.
Go over there and hit the fucking like button. All right, you hit it now. You motherfucking hit the fucking like. I just told you to hit